Calvin Castine at the VFW Post 1418 in Champlain, right on the edge of the town of Morris. It's 29th of August, 2020, and I am here, but we're not doing this by Zoom or anything, but we're trying to talk loud and get our point across. I've got three gentlemen here at the table that are involved with the VFW. I'll ask you to go from left to right and say who you are and what your title is.
I'm Clifford Sterling, the commander of VFW Post 1418.
I'm Anthony King. I'm the quartermaster and adjutant.
Robert St. John. I'm the chaplain and one of the trustees.
All right. You know you're in trouble when Robert St. John is a chaplain, let alone a trustee. Well, we're here for a very serious topic. It's a rainy day. We haven't had a lot of those here. It's finally getting a little bit of rain, but like a lot of other places that have had impact because of the COVID virus, the COVID-19, the coronavirus, Post 1418 has also had some serious consequences here, because since March, your door's been pretty much closed, I believe. Is that correct?
Pretty much, correct.
All right. And you've got bills to pay, and you've just renovated the place. I'm sure some of that was voluntary labor, so it didn't...
99.9% was voluntary.
Didn't impact the pocketbook too much, but still you've got obligations here. Even though you're a non-profit, do you still pay some kind of taxes? Or
We do.
Do you have tax bills?
Sales tax.
Quarterly
anything
tax.
That
Well,
we
sales
sell.
tax is on when you make a sale.
Right,
Yeah.
but up until that point, we had to pay the
Right.
sales tax. And of course, you've got your utilities. So there's a lot of your insurance, which are payments made quarterly or
Right.
monthly or whatever.
You've got a facility like
So-
this, you've got people coming in and out, you've got to be insured. Otherwise, those three people I see on TV will be...
A lot of liability.
800 number.
Right.
We're
A lot
very,
of
very well
liability.
insured here, so and that's what makes it hard.
Yeah, so that's not cheap when you're talking something like this. So I would imagine you weren't exactly flourishing before the pandemic, money-wise. I imagine money has been relatively tight for the past couple of years.
It has been, but honestly, before the pandemic, we were actually starting to put our head above water. Things were going well. We were booking. We actually had the whole summer booked. Every weekend was for weddings, anniversaries, graduations. And when this pandemic hit, we literally lost every single one of those. I think in the entire summer so far, we've only held 3 parties, and obviously they were all underneath 50. And when they showed up, it ended up being about 25 to 30 people. And when you're used to 100, 150 every weekend and stuff to keep this building running, it hurt.
And you don't have just volunteers here, you've got paid staff when you have a party.
Correct. We had paid bartenders. We had a manager on staff.
And I know go ahead.
The history here is that the summer graduation parties, weddings, whatever, is what substantiated the staying open through the winter months. Here, with the location and everything, you don't have the crowd, whatever, that come in just for the bar business. So we always had to rely for years on what we made during the summer to be able to keep us open during the winter months. Now with this COVID-19, we have not had the money coming in whatsoever. So this is why we are at that point of the GoFundMe page and everything, to be able to try and substantiate, keep us going through the winter. Hopefully things will turn around for next summer to where we can have these events again. But it has really hurt us to be able to operate from here on out till next spring, summer.
Right. Just caveat that our normal week in here for our bar area, that's not our survival. We usually get 5, 6 people. You know, we want to stay open for them because they've been very loyal. But like Robert said, our survival is the weddings and graduations. And when this pandemic hit, it hurt. We lost all that business.
Yeah, this is when you harvested.
This is
like a farmer.
Exactly. This is our
plant
busiest
your
time of the
crops,
year.
And this is, during the winter, you're not, you're selling your milk, but you're not
Right, you're not,
harvesting your crops.
Right.
And that's, those crops that you harvested in the summer months, got you through the winter months.
Always has.
And
Yep.
for the 5 or 6 people who do come here on a regular basis, it's important for them.
It
This
is.
is an important place for them to be, you know,
no,
and so, and I believe you're the fellow who started the GoFundMe, or you, because you're the most techie guy in the group here?
I am the most techie guy here. I did start the GoFundMe page. You know, we're at a pivotal moment here. Until this point, the VFW has been something great for not only the community, but for veterans to gather and be together, and we haven't been able to do that. And we're hoping that we can continue to be that beacon for veterans in this area, but also for the community. So that's why we did start the GoFundMe page. It's been live for about a week now. It's doing pretty well. We're hoping for some more feedback on it, and we'll get into that in the next couple of days here. But
We're trying to keep getting that word out. I've shared it a couple times, a couple
Absolutely.
places that, you know, people be aware of it. You know, you think back just, it may have been, you know, time flies by. It's probably been 8, 10 years ago when I was talking to Al Strack and Gerald Mayo and Don DeMars about Post 767 American Legion. And now
right,
they are, well, those guys are all buried, but so is the Legion, you know.
right.
So veterans organizations do fall by the wayside. How's your membership?
our membership is actually the highest it's been in 10 years. It's up. Active membership, we get 10, maybe 15 people here, but our actual membership is at 140 strong. So we're doing better than we were, and I think we were starting to see a turnaround point until this hit, and I haven't been able to gather the membership like we had hoped.
Our problem with membership is the same as a lot of these other veterans organizations, is the fact that they're up in age. We need to do something to get in the younger vets, the Iraq, Afghanistan vets or whatever, and we're just not just here, but nationwide, having a hard time incorporating those veterans into our organizations. Life is just so darn busy for them and everything, they just don't have the time to.
And the old thought was that it's, these places are a place for veterans to go and drink. And it's not true anymore. This VFW right here is very strong as far as what we do for the community. I mean, we do a lot for the community. Anything we can possibly do. If somebody calls up and they said they need some help, we're there. And so as far as the bar itself, I would say we need it, but it's on the back burner. We do other areas. We do a lot of, we give out our property several times through the year for people who want to do nonprofit organizations and fundraisers. We don't charge for fundraisers here. We never have, because that's what we're about, our veterans. And like you said, as far as the younger generation trying to come in, we want to make it very clear that you don't have to put in a ton of hours. Just come in here 1-2 hours stuff once in a while when you're available and stuff. Help us help veterans in the community.
Yeah, and
That's what we want these younger guys in.
by paying their dues, that helps to pay the bills too.
Absolutely.
Right, yep. And we're also involved in children and youth activities here too, with the 2 programs that we have, the Patriot Pen and Voice of Democracy, where we actually
Give
hand
out
out
school scholarships.
school monetary awards for those top individuals that participate in the program. So we're also trying to be into the schools or whatever to instill that patriotism or whatever with the school children.
Right. This last year we had 7 essays for the Patriot Pen and 5 for the Voice of Democracy, and that went really well. And unfortunately, without this summer income, it's still questionable on whether we're going to be able to actually do those programs this year or not. And you know, that's a big thing for the community and these students. And you know, we don't want to give up on the students, and we never have, and we've always found a way to make it work. And we're hoping to do the same this year.
Well, just paying your fuel bill here is going to be a challenge.
It is, we're coming into winter.
You know, with being an older building and everything, and.
Well, it was a barn, right?
Right.
Correct.
Was a barn, and we hardly ever heat the upstairs. In fact, we've moved our meetings and everything downstairs now, where we're not utilizing the upstairs, that more, only for storage.
Uh-huh.
So in
So-
March 23rd, 1971, this place became the VFW.
That's when
And
they bought it?
that's when they actually bought it, they made the charter, and this place became the VFW. My father-in-law, George Tallman, was one of the first ones to help open this up. And we are going to, as strong as we can possibly do it, we are going to see our 50th anniversary, which will be March 23rd.
Coming up.
Will be 50 years this VFW been here. There's not one of us here that wants to see this place closed, and that's why we're here today, to say, hey, help us, help you in the community, keep this place going.
Yeah, I was working at Sheridan at that time, and I remember Smiley Willett was very much involved in this, and I know Willard Martin became a mainstay.
Willard was
a big-
He was down in
yeah.
Mars again. Yeah,
Yep.
So there's a lot of names throughout the community. It's called the Great Shazy, what's it called?
River Memorial
Great
Post.
Shazy River Memorial Post. Even though it's right on the edge of Moores, it's in the town of Champlain, you've got Shazy's name in there too. So how far do you draw for membership, and how
We
are
have
you
mem-
eligible for a membership?
Well, membership is, actually, membership, we have members spread throughout the United
Like in
States.
California could.
Right,
Yeah.
you know, and a lot of the members, I believe, well, at least 75% of them are life members.
Right, we have a very big crowd that is just a life member. Very few still make a monthly payment. They all decided sometime in their life that, you know what, I'm done doing that, I'm just gonna pay it all now. And they've got fancy, what do they got? Probably the old gold-looking cards still.
Yeah, the metal
The
cards
metal
or
card
whatever
in their
for-
pocket, and they've held on to those for years. But I would say the majority of our membership is from Rouse's Point, Champlain, Moores. We've got a few from Shazy and a few in Plattsburgh.
And part of the problem though is a lot of those veterans are in their late 80s, early 90s.
Right, so it's a
you
big
know,
trek to make it back here every month for a meeting, which is why.
you know,
Yeah, well, I figure, Smiley, I think, was a few years younger than my father, so if he were still with us, my father would be, was born in 22, so he'd be 98, so Smiley would be in the mid-90s right now. Your father-in-law would be how old?
Probably right around 98.
Yeah, so I mean, but these guys, when they were doing this 50 years ago, they were in their 40s, early 50s, you know? So that was the age group that got this going. But so what does a person who served in the military have to have done to become a member of the VFW?
To be a person member or a member of the VFW, you have to meet certain qualifications, active duty for some portion of time, and then you have to have served in a combat zone or area or in support of a combat mission or area.
So even though you were in, like right now, we're in a combat era.
Right.
So even though you were in now, if you weren't in a position where you were participating,
Right. If you didn't have some sort of
a campaign medal type thing where
Yeah.
you served actually overseas in a combat area.
right,
If you're in, you know, just a veteran in the United States and you're not going anywhere, you just, even if you do a 20-year career and you haven't done anything, where you've gone to have that combat status or campaign, you cannot be a member of the VFW.
right. So this is where it differs from the American Legion.
right.
Right.
Where right now, the people who are in the military, because they served during this era of combat, are eligible for the American Legion. I
Right,
think.
that is correct.
But here, if you didn't actively participate, you're not
Right.
eligible for
There-
the
there-
VFW.
The term that they used to use was boots on the ground.
Right.
In other words, in that area where there was an actual conflict going on, an actual war or whatever that had been declared, whether it's by Congress or whatever.
There is exception to the boots on deck rule. There are two ribbons, the Army Expeditionary Ribbon and the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary. Those are both medals usually consisting of some kind of ship Marine Corps usually gets awarded that if they're on a ship that's in direct support of uh, missions going on for troops with boots on the deck. So those are qualifying medals, and not a lot of this younger generation like myself are receiving that medal aren't aware that it actually qualifies them for the VFW membership now. So.
Do you think, we talked about when this is established and most of the guys doing it were in their 40s, 50s. Do you think there's a period of time where people coming out of the military just don't want to think about it?
Absolutely.
And then it comes later on, you start reminiscing and think of the camaraderie and everything else. And
I can't speak for them, but for myself, when I retired from the military, that separation's hard, and you need your veterans. So it's just you can relate. You've all been in the same situation, and it's just a nice. And you had that brotherhood. You watch each other's back. So having a place like this to go with the veterans, for me, anyways, that's what I needed. That's why I'm here.
And like myself, when you talk about getting out and not thinking about it, I got out in 1974, but I didn't join the VFW or the American Legion until 14 years ago. But yet I was eligible in 1974. So it just didn't, with everything going on, my family, job, and everything, you just didn't think about it. And
20-year gap.
right. So that it could have been a member, could have been contributing, helping out, or whatever, and didn't. And I kind of regret that now, knowing what I know now and doing what I'm doing now. It just took somebody to come up to me and ask me, "Are you a member of the American Legion? Are you a member of the VFW?" No, I'm not. Well, here, this is what we do. This is what we can, with veterans, with children and youth or whatever. Is it something you're interested in helping out with? Yes, definitely. And then you just work your way up through.
And today we are still picking up members that have been out for 20 years, 10, 15 years, and that we see them all the time. And most of it is just in a conversation. You run into somebody with a veteran's hat on, you start talking to them, and like, "Hey, are you a member of the American Legion or VFW?" "No, I'm not." "Well, how come?" And we start telling them what we do, and they immediately say, "Hey, I want to be part of it."
Yeah, the younger guys too, I think probably even more so now with this younger group that come back with a lot of PTSD
Yeah,
and
right.
a lot of
Yeah.
just don't want to think about the military, but they probably need something like this more than if they didn't feel that way.
Right. I mean, because they would be instead of dealing with it at home or whatever, then you have your service officers of both the Legion and the VFW that are willing to sit down with them, help them out, explain what programs are available to them to have them be able to cope with this PTSD. The big thing is when you have 22 veterans a day that are committing suicide or whatever, you need to start reaching out to these veterans and hopefully reduce that number, because somebody that has given their time, and you might as well say their life for their country or whatever, they need the help. We are there to help them.
Right.
There are programs out there through these service organizations, the veterans service officers, that can help them and push them in the right direction to get those benefits, and also to get even monetary help or whatever from the VA.
And hanging around with people who have been through similar circumstances is going to be beneficial, for these people. They
Right.
just get involved.
Well,
Yep.
some of our members that we picked up was exactly how we did it. Was like Robert was saying, we started talking to them. We explained to them about the Veterans Affairs, what they do for your vet. It's free. So we started talking about the benefits that they could possibly get out of it. Go down there, talk to those guys down in the office in Plattsburgh, and let them know what you did, and they'll go through your service record, and if you're qualified for certain programs, they'll help you with it. And it's all free for us veterans. You just got to know where to start, and American Legion and VFWs help you get that start. We push you in the direction you need to go in because we've been there. We know who to talk to.
And I think to further your question, to today's veterans are in a crisis. They are feeling a lot of pain and feelings and things when they get home. And I think the number one thing that veterans can do is say, hey, we're here for you. You're not alone. We understand what you're going through, and we're here to help. And I think that for veterans experiencing PTSD symptoms is just the biggest help, that somebody is there for them, who's been there and who's done that and has their back.
You know, it's important, I think, for these people's family members to kind of nudge them in this direction. And obviously, if you guys lose your property here, lose your buildings and so on, doesn't take long before you lose your identity. You know, I think once the whole 767 Legion lost their building, you know,
Right.
it just loses the incentive for people to join and so on. So I think it's vital that you guys are able to keep this post alive and healthy and visible to the community through this.
It does help that, but also we look at it also is with everything that we do for the veterans or the community or whatever. If by perchance it does come to that, then still we are still members of 1418. Whether we just have to have another meeting place somewhere or whatever, but we would still be able to do the programs. But yeah, you're right, it doesn't have the visibility to say that we are still existing, other than having to go out like through here or social media or whatever, saying, we are here and we're here for you. So it is, you know, this is something that we don't take lightly as far as the property and the buildings or whatever. Yes, it is our identity, and we're been planted here since 1971 or whatever, and we don't want to give that up. But the reality is that it might in the future come to that if we can't turn it around to make the monies to be able to survive.
Yeah, but even the programs you're talking about doing, you still gotta raise funds, and having this venue here.
Makes it easier to raise, to have fundraisers.
It's a lot easier. That's
Than it
why-
is trying to get another venue somewhere else to do fundraisers.
That's why it's very important for everyone out there in the community to realize stuff, what we have here. Come on down and check out the VFW. Look at the property that we have. We have 9 acres here. We're right on the river. The kayaking's great. We have people come from out of state to come kayak. And the fishing's awesome too. And it's 2-minute walk behind our building. You know, the weddings, the anniversaries, the graduations that we can host here, everything that we host helps fund this post and allows us to fund those programs that we fund.
And usually we get, like, if you have, like, especially graduations, you got 2-3 families that are involved together.
Right,
So then you've got more of an exposure
right.
for people to know that it's here or whatever,
People
you know.
say, hey, I didn't know this, so.
Right,
We hear that-
exactly.
We hear that all the time.
So, you know, and that's what the problem was, is that, again, it's getting back to COVID, where it just squashed that whole thing for us this summer.
Yeah, so let's look forward. Right now, you said you have had a couple of legal
We had a couple small
gatherings here,
graduations.
going by what the Board of Health requirements are.
Correct.
So your facility is available,
Yes,
so don't, but you have restrictions. You can have 50 people to one party, and that's it.
Right.
But you do have enough space here, you can have more than one party going.
We can actually
Right.
host 2 big parties, and we can actually host 3 small parties. This building right here is set up to split right in half. Those doors over there will actually slide down, 'cause this used to be a barn. The cows were actually over on that side. This was the milking area.
50 years ago now, folks.
50 years ago, yeah, not now, but 50 years ago, there was cows right in that area over there. And we have pictures of the past, but those doors are actually on a barn door slide, and they all close up, so we can completely shut that room off from this room. And we've had where wedding showers and birthday parties, that would be the unique thing, is that you could separate it and have 25 people, 30 people on each side very comfortably, but yet 2 separate parties and not intervene with neither one.
Yeah,
And the way
you're gonna have access there for
Right, for the
Correct.
kitchen area.
We have a full-up kitchen.
As it is set up now in here, this is set up for social distancing in here right now.
Right.
With where the tables are and the pub tables and the dining, banquet room tables are set up. So it has already been, so that way, when we were able to open and all this renovation was done, we were set up to start having. But the thing is most of these parties were for outside, and they were like 150 to 200 people or whatever.
Right.
And that's where we're at.
I mean, you start asking people to trim your list down.
Right, especially at a wedding or whatever, when you've got 300 people and you've got set up or say 150 and you got food coming for 150 and then find out, oh no, it's only 50, then that's what an expense to these people. And
Alienating a few people.
Right. Who do you not invite? Again, now, I invited yourself, invited you, now, I gotta send you another, we regretfully inform you that you're no longer invited.
You can come, but your spouse can't.
And when we say we did some renovations here, keep in mind that other than, I think, the paint and a little bit of the boards that we put on, we found things that were sitting in the back room. We took areas from other area, the closets where we took the plywood from that we could, and stuff, any way that we could save money, but yet still make this place look a little more updated. That's what we did.
So if people haven't been in here since prior to the virus hitting.
They need to come check it out.
Yeah. A lot of lighting here now, very welcoming.
Very well.
Got lots of parking out there, right on Route 11, so it's the easiest place to find if you're not familiar with the area.
And easy to get in and easy to get out.
Correct. And we have shutter hours down during the week right now just because we had no business.
Right.
We hope to open it back up, but as of right now, so just to be able to cover the finances, we can't put a bartender out if nobody's coming in. It's just not feasible. So, but we are still hosting our events. Anybody who has scheduled a party or anyone who wants to still schedule a party right now, our schedule is all open. So we invite you to come on down and stuff, 50 or less, and book a party. We will be more than welcome to put you
And
on.
at that point, then that's when we'll open to have the bartender here available or whatever. But the way it is now, when you only have maybe 1 or 2 customers that come in and you're paying a bartender to sit here and you only have $10 in sales for that 4 hours,
Right,
you just can't survive.
right,
You're paying your help more than what you're making on over the counter.
right.
So,
Losing money by
Right.
opening up.
So even during the week, we had a phone call a few weeks ago for a funeral in here, and it was on a Monday. And absolutely, we will come in, we'll open the doors up, if you need to be in here during the week, we will make accommodations to have someone here and stuff, that you can do what you need to do here.
and again, the funeral receptions and that are, there's no charge. Somebody wants to have a funeral reception in here after the funeral or whatever, they're more than welcome to call and we will accommodate what they need to do.
You won't refuse a donation, though.
No,
Absolutely not.
no.
Never
No.
refuse that, but again, that's what we're about as far as veterans and helping our community. When people are in need, that's the time we step up.
Okay? So you've got the GoFundMe page, and you're hoping to get people to start trickling in 50 at a time to,
Whatever amount or whatever, I mean, and other than the GoFundMe page, some people are not on Facebook or whatever, so if there's anybody that wants to write a check and send it to the VFW with, as far as a donation, I'll write it on their check, donation to the VFW 1418, on the little memo on the bottom.
Got an address?
And that address is 600 St. John's Road, Champlain, New York.
12919.
Named after Robert St. John?
Named after
No,
Robert
no,
St.
no.
John. Correct.
It's not his road.
Not his road, no, he doesn't know.
He thinks it does, but it's not his road.
But yeah, because like I said, there's a lot of people that are not computer savvy or whatever, not on the computer. But this way, it gets the word out with how many places, people you touch. is just, you know, phenomenal. And this helps us here to get the word out.
Right, so as of right now, Anthony, will you explain to them where they, how they find it on the GoFundMe?
So for GoFundMe, you can go on our Facebook page, VFW Post 1418. There's a nice little link down there. It's got a picture of the barn, and it says Save Our Post Home. You click on that and it'll take you right to the GoFundMe page. Put in your dollar amount, hit enter, and it'll do the rest for you. It's very simple.
Okay, so it's there, it's available, simple as, now, is it through PayPal, does it come off your credit card, how does it work, you know?
Through the website GoFundMe, they have their own banking system. You put in your credit card. I think they have a PayPal option. They have a Venmo option. They have quite a few options on there I won't get into for the non-tech people, but you can choose the way you want to pay, type in your information, and off it goes. And then out of that, we do a withdrawal and it'll go into our bank account so that we have those funds available.
Okay, and you're hoping to raise 25,000 according to that there, so that's just to keep your doors open till...
Right, we're just fighting to get through this winter because as it starts to get colder, that outside facility will close down. We'll have to shut it down. And now we will only have the inside here for events. So we need to get through the winter. And once we get through the winter, hopefully this pandemic lifts a little bit and next year we can go back to normal as far as our events. But we got to get through this winter.
You know, and it's not just, you know, we're here to talk about post 1418, but there's lots of other businesses that are unfortunately
Yes.
closing their doors
Right.
because of this pandemic.
Yeah.
And now even when we come out of this, it's gonna be a different world that we're gonna look at because a lot of places we take for granted just
Aren't gonna be there, right?
And we're
Yep.
hoping that post 1418 isn't one of those places.
Correct.
Right.
And that's why we actually encourage, and I'm one of them, it's, we know some of these small businesses are struggling, so help support them. Go get a burger from them.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do, help support your
Local
home,
businesses.
your hometown local businesses, because they, believe me, we're one of them. They need your help.
Yeah, we try to go to at least one or two local spots that we probably wouldn't have normally done, just to,
Right, just to show your
Yeah.
support
Yeah.
for them in your community, so they don't end up where they've been surviving for all these years, and then all of a sudden it's, you know, wow, gee, do I continue my business? Or do I just say, that's it, I can't do it anymore?
Yeah.
Because I'm bleeding money from my own account or whatever to be able to stay open.
Right, these small businesses, you know, for years have sponsored our kids' sports teams. They've sponsored all the events. These parents, they go out and they coach the teams. Without these small businesses, that's not possible. If our small businesses close, we're leaving, you know, not only us but our children into a economy that's, you know, not going to be there to help them.
Oh, you look at any organization that has raffles. You rely on your small businesses in the area to give certificates or items or whatever that they give you for these raffles. And if they're hurting, you know,
yeah,
then
and
it's,
what irks me is even before this, you know, somebody will pull in, go to a car dealership, driving in with a car they bought in Berlin City, New Hampshire, asking for a donation.
Correct.
Well, why in the heck didn't you
right,
get a price locally when you bought your vehicle?
yep,
So many people are just pushing a button now to order stuff online instead of getting off their backside and going out and going into a local store and supporting it.
right.
Well, that's
Yep.
like here, like I said, we're fighting for this place, and it's not easy, but it's hard for us to go and talk to local businesses because they're in the same boat we are,
Sure.
and we know that. So that's the last thing we will think about doing, because we can relate to what they're going through.
Okay, anything else in that? We'll take a little tour around. I'm sure maybe while we're touring, other things will pop in, but anything else you want to say right now?
No,
No.
I think that covers it pretty well,
Pretty much
Ralph.
covers it.
Calvin.
Okay, I'll point out again, we're on the St. John's Road.
600 St. John's Road.
600 St. Right at the corner of Route 11. And the road to Terry's Mills, what used to be Route 11.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, it did.
Probably right around the time they were starting this. That was still Route 11.
It was probably still dirt road.
And at the time, it was called Perry's Mills and not like it is now, Perry Mills.
Right.
So there's,
I'm hoping to get that changed. Bring back to what it really was.
right.
Well, no, you started, get on.
All right, Cliff, you were saying?
All right, so over the March, April, May timeframe when we were closed, this bar was in pretty rough shape. Again, it's 49 years old. It's the original bar when they built the place. And it was pretty rough shape, so we actually sanded it all down. We fixed all the cracks and the broken pieces of wood and resurfaced, put 8 coats of poly on this thing, and it's probably the nicest it's been in 20 years. And even had a local carpenter who is a veteran
Uh-huh.
tried to help us out because we couldn't figure out how to make this nice curve. So he built that piece at his house and brought it up to us and put it in for us.
Dick Baker.
Dick Baker. So like I said, there's a lot of guys who've come up and helped us in one way or another, and you know, we're pretty proud of the bar now. Unfortunately, we haven't had anybody sit at it since we did it. We just can't wait because we actually put a coaster on it and slide it, and it goes all the way around the bar because it's so slick. And this red, white, and blue lighting that you see around, this was donated by Robert St. John and his wife Janice.
Okay.
Just something we wanted to do. The people come in now, we dim the lights. It's just that atmosphere, and like I said, that was a donation to them to try to help bring the place a little different.
Any particular reason for the red, white, and blue colors? What?
Yeah, it's a veteran organization, so exactly a reason for it.
I just want to make sure that I didn't evade you. You knew that. You knew
Oh
the reason
no,
why.
yeah, the red, white, and blue is represents the flag and who we are. We're very nice. Every one of us very patriotic.
Okay, so this is the new look bar. Couldn't you used to get through here in the corner?
Yeah, so like I said, there's a lot of change. We really encourage people to come down and check out the new bar when we can actually get up and running again, because we did a lot of work in this place. As far as used to be a door over there in the corner that you could walk right out into the banquet room. We shut that off and put a popcorn machine there, a nacho machine. So it just opens up a little more for people to have for food, and they see it. They see the food, they want it.
Okay, and you've got even before. Did you have this glass? That's a recent addition.
No, that's something new. They're for health department.
Yeah, we gotta have that.
We have to have it, and that. So now by shutting off the bar, that's the only area that people will go and get their alcohol or soft drinks.
Okay, are you open at all on a regular basis?
Right now, we are not open at all on the weekend. During the week.
Okay.
Just because we just don't have enough business.
But on weekends?
On weekends, we're not open neither unless it's a party.
Okay, so you don't have any regular open hours?
Not at this point in time. We had to shut down, and that's why we're here today.
Okay, phone number, 518-236-7839.
Oh God, that's the hardest one. 7839.
I know 7836 is Tom Bedard, 7839 is here, so I keep trying to remember which one is which.
Because we're closed out right now, I'm going to give my number. It's 518-569-9854.
Call anytime.
Call anytime and stuff if you want to book
3
a
o'clock
party.
in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning, leave a message. I will get back to you and stuff by
You
7
won't
o'clock in the
answer?
morning. Probably not. But if I do, I will call you right back.
I'm going to try that. But first, I have to be up at 3 o'clock to do it. I don't.
Exactly.
May not work
But
out.
no, something new that we put in just a few years ago, we actually have a keg machine now, something they never used to have here. So we can offer beer on draft. That's something new, and we've been trying to push that. Like I said, we had Lightning Lardies here, doing smoked meat and everything. Another thing we've been trying to push.
Lee Garin was here right
Lee
at
Garin.
the quarantine time
Correct.
on Sundays. All right, so right now you got you have more tables for when the quarantine is over?
Yes, we have a lot more tables when the quarantine's over.
They're in storage right now,
Right.
where they
But
are.
but this is
so-
socially distanced right now, so.
Everything is set up for social distancing. Obviously, the pool table everything got pushed against the wall because none of that can be used at this point in time.
It'd be kind of hard to shoot from that other
It
side.
would, it would, but just to show what we've been trying to update is we actually talked to Valley Vending. The pool table that was in here before, probably been in here since day one, and they were generous enough to bring us down one of the most updated pool tables just in the last month and a half, but unfortunately we haven't been able to use it.
Can't use it yet.
Just to help make our place look better, they brought in a new pool table for us.
Oh, nice of them.
Correct.
All right, lots of lighting in here, very well lit. It was kind of dark in here at times.
It's very dark in here at times. We took a lot of things off the wall just to try to make it more of a banquet room, so you can take the two rooms and add it together as one big room. All our military memorabilia, as you walk in the door, it tells you the history of the veterans through the different wars that are out there. And then as you're walking through the door towards the bar, if you look up on the wall here, we put up a lot of our old pictures and stuff just to show that we're still a veteran, and same thing on the wall over here. But with that being said, we're also want that banquet hall area to let people know that we do the weddings and
Okay,
anniversaries.
let's wander down that way.
We have a nice handicap access for them to go into the
Yeah,
banquet
a
area.
little ramp here. And this is what the, again, socially distanced
Correct.
banquet area looks
Right,
like.
banquet hall in here and stuff, social distancing. We have 6 chairs to a table. We can add up to 8 very comfortably. We can get 10, but 8 comfortable. And we have more tables on a general basis.
We actually have 14 of these tables that would normally be
Right.
in here.
Right.
Now we've only got, what, 7?
8.
8?
Yeah, we got one torn down right now, so we can get 8 in here comfortably. And we have the
Still
open.
do the social distancing.
Right. Social distancing, and with our giant kitchen with the window right there, a lot of things can be served right over the window.
Right.
So it doesn't interfere with taking up space over here, because they can operate right through the window.
Okay, and anything else in here before we go outside? It looks like it might be raining, and we'll see what
Well, we
Looks
go
like
around
when
the
we
side
step
door and
outside.
go right to the pool barn area, so you don't get too wet.
all right. The
None of
side-
us are made of sugar.
I've been told to step outside before.
Beautiful flowers you'd ever imagine. They
All right,
pull out white and pink.
I've asked these guys what kind of a tree this is, and none of them know. So we need some people who know what trees look like here. These look like there's no seeds in there. It's not like green beans or anything, right?
All right. But they actually, in the spring, they come out to a beautiful white flower with a pink insert. We've had a few weddings right underneath this tree because they just love the tree when it blossoms.
All right. So in addition to raising funds for the Legion to keep, for the VFW to keep it open, we want to find out what the heck kind of a tree this is.
First one that does gets a free soda.
The brand of their choice too. So you got, you said what, 9 acres is it out here?
9 acres of property, yes.
Just when you go out there.
Yeah, we have 9 acres of property. The river's right here, just past the tall grass. We just haven't mowed the grass this year because of everything going on.
Okay.
But usually that's all brush mowed a couple times a year.
Okay. But
Matter of fact, that's where they had the big river, big river jam.
yeah, yeah. It's
We've
been here
got,
last year. It was quite interesting.
We've got horseshoe pits that were installed a couple of years ago. So if anybody's interested in a horseshoe league or whatever, that's available. We've got the volleyball net outside with the sand. That's used every week. We have a group that comes down on
Tuesdays.
Tuesday nights, and they come down here and
This summer too, or
yes, this summer
Right
they've
up
been.
matter of fact, Tuesday night there was a group playing there, so it's been
Yeah.
Tuesdays and Thursdays now, but just Tuesday night they were there playing right till dark.
so they book it because otherwise you can't have people just showing up. And if another group is planning on using it, do they book it or just
No, they right
It's-
now they're not doing tournaments. They just go in and play, so they come down here to play on it.
Just a bunch of
Tuesday nights.
friends getting together, doing volleyball. So
from
it's
different
usually-
areas, and this is their central location.
There's usually at the most 12, 14 people that are there just
Right.
to play.
and if you're waiting for the bus to pick you up, you got a bus stop here.
Yeah, we have a bus stop. It's actually the smoke pit, so we encourage people to use it. That's where you actually can go have your cigarette and put it out in there.
Oh, okay.
We would appreciate it if they actually used it
Yeah.
more often.
Instead of outside the door.
Yeah. Now, it's raining right now, so I'd
Yeah.
like to have you get, but we have a nice float that we like to brag about a little bit too.
I've seen in the parades and
Well, it's a float that it's a float that we've had for years here at the VFW, and it needs some work on it. And we actually, again, veteran organizations work together. So the VFW worked with the American Legion, Post 912 in Rouse's Point, and went up to them and said, "Hey, we'd like to fix this." They needed a float for their parade, and with us working together, so we got CV Tech out of Plattsburgh, all those students to actually rebuild this float for us. American Legion Ross Point paid for the material. CV Tech students actually built this all up for us, and we went and picked it up and brought it back home. And did we ever get
This
to
is
use
the
it?
first year that we haven't been. We used it last year.
Yeah, we used it last year for
We
the
had
parade.
4th of July, that we used it in Ross's Point last year. This year, everything canceled, so there was no use because I'd planned on putting it in the St. Mary's parade on Memorial Day that we usually march in. We were going to do Moore's Labor Day parade, and of course, all that got canceled, so it just sits out in the front now. And
But we only got to use it once, and we just wanted to brag because it was the students that built this thing.
Oh, okay.
And and again, it's veterans working with the younger generation.
I'm getting out of the rain.
That's fine. It's the veterans working with the younger generation to let them know what we do and stuff and what we're about, and at the same time, they did a lot for us.
Yep.
So we're pretty proud of that float.
And we gave them certificates. Each student got a certificate for helping to upgrade the float and everything. And then we took a picture of all the students with veterans for the project that CB Tech did. So.
Okay. Do we want to look at this?
Yes, we can walk in there before you get wet.
All right, we have made our way out to the, I'll call this a pole barn, or what am I going to call this?
The outside canteen?
Outside the canteen?
Yes, the outside canteen.
I call it a pole barn. Also known as an outside canteen. The caution tape, when you do have a function here, goes around the chairs so that the bar is not utilized, right?
Right. So there's only one area that the bartender will, stop to take your orders or whatever. That's where you would go.
Cliff knew right where it was, too.
Right, Cliff knew right where it was.
I work the other side.
Oh, he works the other side.
I don't believe that.
Good answer.
He's a faithful patron of this bar.
But so that way then it's just the bartender. You don't have to worry about the plexiglass in front or whatever. Even out here, the bartender has a mask. So
Okay.
as far as and anybody that comes up is required to wear a mask when they're ordering their drink.
So again, it's 50 people maximum if somebody wants to.
Even though we're outside here, again, it's 50 people for the gathering.
And we're doing this on August 29th. I don't know if you guys know this, but cold weather is coming. So, but until the weather says otherwise, you're going to still have this place available.
Right.
Right up till it's too cold. We're going to try to run it as long as we can.
Get some snowmobile club or something to have a party here.
Yeah, we don't want the snow yet, though.
No.
One thing we did do here in the last year that people are not aware of is we actually have Wi-Fi on the property now.
Okay.
And just within the last few months, we actually had fiber optic put in to our main facility, and we actually dug a trench just about a month ago and ran it out to here. It still needs to be hooked up hardwired, but we do have the Wi-Fi cordless set up out here, so now come on down, you get your computers that you can actually put out here and stuff and get internet.
Oh,
Something
wow.
we never had before.
All those modern conveniences.
And thank you to Champlain Telephone Company on that one. They've been very helpful with us on that.
Well, it's a local business, and it's again when you got a local business
You work
operated
together.
by local people, it makes a difference. All right, so this is the area here. We're looking back at the horseshoe pits, and there's the volleyball, and the land goes on. Who's your lawnmower? Who does that?
Royce Clark, one of our members, Vietnam veteran. He comes down here every week, mows and trims, and makes the property look nice.
Wow, does a good job.
He does. He's very faithful on that, does it every year, and then takes off for the winter. But most of the time, right here in front of us, they'll have tables and chairs set up where we are inside, and they'll put a tent between here and the volleyball net. So when they are doing weddings, so we encourage that. If you want to put a tent up here, absolutely, come on down. And we've had tents that'll hold 100 people under there.
Right now we're limited to 50.
Right, we're limited to 50, but I mean,
We're
that's,
looking forward.
we're looking forward to that, right? We got to be thinking ahead, and but tents go up here. We encourage you to utilize the property. The only thing we've ever said to anybody is do anything you want to the property, put it back the way you found it when you leave.
And this is actually the property where this year, if we were able to,
where the wall that heals was gonna go out here on,
Right.
on the property out
Just
out
a couple
here.
of weeks ago.
Right.
The Vietnam, yeah.
Yep.
Right,
It ended up going to Messina, though, didn't it?
well, actually, everything was canceled, correct, Anthony?
There was a wall in Messina, different organizations, smaller monuments, but yes, there was one in Messina. I heard they had an okay turnout, but that did end up happening the same week we were supposed to have the wall that heals out.
Right. That's why I thought maybe it was the same thing, but similar, similar but different.
I believe that was the traveling wall,
Right.
which is
There's different variations, the
Right.
traveling wall and the wall that heals.
Right, and the wall that heals, that's only been postponed. It's not canceled. We are still fundraising for that. We actually, that's still a fundraiser, and that is still going to happen. It just, we don't know when yet.
the official tour dates for that will actually come out in middle of September. So we'll find out if we're actually on that tour or we're going to be on the 2022 tour.
Yeah, and of course, all tour dates are tentative.
Right,
you know.
exactly.
I know the honor flight people have got a schedule for next year, and all this year was canceled, and we just hope that the honor flights are
Right.
going to take off
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, I
And
see I think they posted the dates for next
Yeah,
year.
I just saw them during this week.
Yeah.
And what's this? Oh yeah, that's right. It's a place for a band out there, huh?
Yeah, that's where the River Jam that they used to hold here. That's where the band's all staged and played to, so we say, the multitude or whatever in the past out here.
So that stage is set up for a full-up band. They have pipes up on the top where they hook all their speakers up. Full power out there, so they can have a 15-man band come out here and set up and perform to the audience. And again, if we ever get back up to that number again, we encourage people to come on up and stuff and host, a band, a battle of the band or river,
Yeah.
And of course, that stage had been dedicated. I don't know if you want to go out and take a look at the plaque or whatever.
It looks like it's let up the rain, so. Yeah, so this property, I know we mentioned it, I'm not sure how many times on camera, it's big enough for, 3 separate 50-person parties here. You could theoretically have that, right?
Correct. Absolutely. We could have 3 separate 50-person events at once.
Oh, and on our bumper?
Yeah.
An honor bumper. Bumper Baker was the past commander before I took over. Unfortunately, he passed away actually on this property. So to dedicate it, we dedicate the stage to him.
Very nice.
So, and the property goes all the way to the river. But you can just mow so much.
Yeah.
It takes them long enough to mow the part that is mowed.
So people need to realize, the river that we actually, part of our property is from these trees right here, all the way back to Route 11, that we have a riverfront property. And there is a group, and I don't remember the names, but they're from out of state. They have come here every year with a van with like 8 kayaks, and they park it in the property and they walk back with them. And the guy says this is the best place to unload. We've been doing this for years, and he says that's why we use the river right here.
Huh. Very nice. So yeah, you've got even beyond what you're using now. Does it get wet during the springtime? Or?
The water comes up about halfway up on this far end of the trees. It comes up about halfway and recedes very quickly. So let's see, April, May. Usually by the end of May, everything's all dried up, and you can actually walk back there.
So,
as you can see, it's a huge property. We can host a lot of things. It's kind of a unique area. There's not a lot of places around that have this much property with the buildings that we have.
Especially outdoor property.
Outdoor,
Yeah.
right? If we ever get back to normal, we could host a 500 party here with no issues at all.
Right.
We have the setup for it.
and maybe you could afford a riding mower. Poor Royce has to have a push mower.
No,
to
no,
do
no.
all-
He's been doing the hand one right now because of financial reasons. He's been walking behind.
No, he's been the zero turn or whatever.
We have a nice big Kubota that we actually use for the property here.
No.
Royce
And
mows it pretty
these,
quick.
those are the two items that were donated by a veteran to us, the riding lawnmower and the snow blower that Cliff had talked about earlier, that to be able to lend out or whatever
Uh-huh.
to
veterans.
other veterans, or even one of us using it to go mow their lawn or whatever.
Or here,
So
or mow here, or
And
whatever.
that's what those are there
Yep.
for, to help out other veterans who need help.
Okay. All right, so once again, it's August 29th, 2020, the year of the pandemic. We're here at Post 1418, VFW. It's on the corner of the St. John's Road and the Route 11, and is it called the Perry's Mills Road, the other road? Or?
yes,
It is called. It is called the Perry's Mills Road. Okay, Perry Mills. Yeah,
I know.
I'm still going to say Perry's Mills. But.
I do too. But
All right, maybe we'll even get a chance to look at the front at the monuments and so on out there, and then we'll wrap this up here. Okay, we're at the Route 11 side of the building, and this is that float. You said there's the just previous float that you had, but the students fixed it all up and put it in great shape, and now it's just sitting there because you haven't had any parades.
right, exactly.
Do you get out here in the summer months and sit in there and wave at the traffic?
No,
Go by
no,
by?
no, we don't. We don't do that. We no. But the thing is, I mean, we get veterans from both the VFW and the Legion that ride on that float, along with the auxiliary from the Legion. Unfortunately, the auxiliary that was here, their membership got elderly, and so they had to turn their charter in
Oh, too
for
bad.
here. And some of the members that were here at one time transferred down to the VFW in Beekmantown, the auxiliary members. So they still wanted to be active in the auxiliary and everything, but they just didn't have the membership here or to be able to continue any of their programs. So
Okay, you have a couple of cannon here on the lawn, and I've attended many Memorial Day and Veterans Day services here, but now they're mainly handled by Legion 912, but certainly attended a lot of events here.
yeah, and we at 912 we also incorporate the members of the VFW here to participate with us.
Right,
Um,
so it's not
So,
just your
no,
event, it's
no.
a joint event.
right. Yeah, we're all the same veterans. So
Yeah, and a lot of duplicates.
a lot of double members.
Okay, anything else any of you gentlemen think has to be said here? Are you going to, half an hour from now, give me a call and say, oh, we should have said this?
No, other than, again, this place, it'd be 50 years in March, and we want to see that date come, and we want to continue it for years after that. So I encourage people to help your local community out by coming on down to the VFW and book your parties.
And we would like to in some way commemorate the 50th year anniversary next year, to involve the community and everything to come out and help us celebrate 50 years that we have been here for the community and for our veterans.
Right, according to the old pictures that we've come out with back in the 70s and 80s, they did a giant barbecue.
At field days here.
They had field days here, which they opened up the community and stuff, and they just left it on donations. So it was a way for them to give back, and they did a giant barbecue. And we really would like to be able to do that again on our 50th to be able to give back.
That's in March, you said?
Well, we won't be doing it in March.
No, but March
in
20
March is the
20
50th anniversary, March 23rd, and again next spring when the weather gets nice, we would like to be able to do something for a big outside barbecue.
Okay, so the important thing is here to keep this post alive, and I'm sure there's others that are struggling out there. This is probably certainly not the only one that's in this situation.
No.
There's other veteran organizations that need your help. This particular one, Post 1418, has a Facebook page, and they have a GoFundMe on there. They take donations through the mail, 600 St. John's Road, Was it Champlain or Moore's?
Champlain.
Champlain mailing address, 12919. Now there are actually two Facebook pages, say Post 1418. One's very similar to yours, so make sure you're on the right one.
Right, the one that's listed as St. John's Road.
Okay.
Because as you scroll down, yes, there are some others, and there's been some of the confusion with the GoFundMe page, knowing which one to click on or
Right.
whatever. But you see the one with the post in the picture
Right.
with 1418. That's the one that you need to go to for the GoFundMe page.
All right. So anything else, gentlemen, that you think we should say, or?
We'd like to thank you. We'd like to thank you for doing this for us today.
Well, that's what I try to do.
Always hometown cable has always been there, and we just want to thank you for what you're doing for us.
We can't, express that enough. That not just us, but any organization or whatever, with Calvin, with hometown cable and everything, he's willing to go anywhere to help you promote what you need to promote to help you continue to survive.
So again, help Calvin out, continue what he does.
Right.
And,
make a donation to
Make a
hometown
donation
cable.
to hometown cable too, because without Calvin, we wouldn't be here discussing this today.
All right, well, thank you very much, and best of luck. I want to be able to come here and celebrate the 50th next
Again, we
next
thank
spring.
you for being here, Calvin.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I didn't close out quite entirely here. We're going to start with a fellow I mentioned earlier, Smiley Willett, also known as Cleo Willett. He was from 71 to 73, the commander. Robert Lucia, 73, 74. Willard Martin, 74, 76. Emery Lucia, he had two stints, 76, 78, and 81, 83, 82, it looks like. Don Smith also had a couple of stints. He lived right across the road, so it wasn't difficult for him. 78, 79, 98, 99. Joseph Fillion, 79, 80. He left us at a young age. Joseph Bergeron, 80, 81. Dale Nichols, my neighbor, 82 to 84. George Tallman, Cliff's father-in-law, 84 to 86. Ken Pete, looks like they want to make him look like he's short here. Ken's not that short. 86 to 88. Joseph Bourgeois, 88 to 90. George Fnaff, 90, 94. The story of George Fnaff, he worked at Sheridan, and for some reason, I think it was my uncle Oscar Bayshard was being buried, and the funeral procession drove by Sheridan. He was outside working, and he paused and saluted and paid respect to that funeral procession going by. So I thought something that always sticks out in my memory of George Fnaff. Don DeMars, very much active when he moved back to the area, 92, 94. Jeff Addison, 94 to 98. He had 4 years here. Glenn Spellman, 1998. Richard Thayer, 99 to 2000. Donald Miller, 2000. And I'm going to wander back here so we end up at the end of the line. Carl LaFontaine, 2003. John Hanson, 2002, 2003. You had a lady. That's the only female commander you had, 2003, 2004. Samantha Roberts. Stanley Lapierre. George Fillion's brother-in-law. He was 2004 to 2007. Earl Robinson from Moore's area. Getting some light here in this picture. 2007, 2009. Forgive the camera work, but for Fillmore Beanie, 2009 to 2011. Dave Pickering, 2012 to 2015. And Francis Baker, who passed away while he was here mopping the floors, I've heard. Is that mopping the floors, was he? Or what was it? Yeah. Bumper Baker, 2015 to 2018. And the current one, then to the far distant future, 2018 to 2036, Cliff Sterling.
We'll talk about that.
That'll wrap it up. Thank you again, gentlemen.